Now, fresh attempts to curb immigration have been put at the heart of the government's 15 new bills outlined in today's Queen's speech. Amongst the proposals are new legislation to tighten access to the NHS for new migrants, landlords being forced to check the immigration status of people renting their rooms, and illegal migrants being prevented from obtaining driving licences. However, critics say that the government's proposals are less about common sense immigration policy and more about stemming the tide of UKIP, especially here in the southeast.
The real lesson of UKIP's vote, and the two-thirds of people who didn't vote in these elections, is a deep sense that the country is not working for them. They see a country where things are getting worse, not better.
We must reform welfare and pensions so it pays to work and pays to save, and we must reform our immigration system so we attract people who will benefit this country and we clear up the mess that we were left by the party opposite.
Well, last week's county council elections saw UKIP make significant gains here. Before the elections, the party only held 3 seats across the whole of the southeast. Now UKIP has 37 councillors in Kent, Sussex and Surrey, with the greatest change in Thanet, where the party took 7 of the 8 seats available. Well, our reporter Ellie Price joins us now from over. And Ellie, will these changes to the immigration rules actually appeal to people who may have voted UKIP this time around?
Well, certainly that's what UKIP would like us to think. The government, of course, insists that this Queen's speech was written before these county council elections that you mentioned there. David Cameron, that said, admitted last week that lessons needed to be learned. So you mentioned Thanet there was one of the biggest areas where UKIP made gains. It's where Peter Whittlesey now reports.
Pubs and politics have worked for Nigel Farage, so in the party's new Thanet heartland, the Queen's Head is the perfect place to watch the Queen's speech.
Here she comes, bless her heart.
Labour's Will Scobie is the only non-UKIP county councillor in Thanet. Former Lieutenant Colonel Roger Latchford is leading UKIP's march in Kent.
My government will bring forward a bill that further reforms Britain's immigration system.
Was this a tactical speech to stop UKIP in its tracks?
Very much so. You know, with all the changes on immigrants' benefits, there's definitely David Cameron attempting to woo back some UKIP voters who resoundingly said they don't want Conservatives around here in Thanet at the moment. The big things we should be talking about are the misuse of the national minimum wage and people not being paid that, and also the fact that that undercuts British workers. I mean, that's the issue we should be targeting, is actually saying we need to pay all workers the minimum wage and nobody's wages should be undercut by someone coming into this country.
That's a UKIP policy, isn't it?
No, not necessarily. It's a fair policy.
But UKIP says this was a Tory-led coalition speech.
If you vote the Conservative Party in at the next election, and it will be a conditional referendum. We want a straightforward in-out referendum. You can't be clear on that. The immigration issue is from my mind, a very simple issue.